Hi, I'm Eric Goldschmidt. As a glass artist and demonstration supervisor for the Corning Museum of Glass, it's important I continue to stay informed about the history, craft, art, and science of glass. This thirst for information has transformed me into a bit of a glass pilgrim. There's just no better way to learn than going directly to the source. In the spring of 2014, this quest brought me to the celebrated glass center of Murano, Italy, a small island just off the coast of Venice with a history of glassmaking that dates all the way back to the 13th century. I'd like to share some of this experience with you. My friend, guide, and translator Domenico Cavallaro had recanted a story to me years ago about his experience watching a rather unheralded maestro entertaining a party full of very skilled fellow glassworkers. The party was held in a friend's studio, and it was a festive environment. The maestros would take turns gathering from the furnace and show some quick techniques as they regaled with stories, food, and drink. However, there was one maestro who clearly stood out to all the attendees because of his skill in making a wide variety of animal sculptures faster and more efficiently than anyone else. Several other friends of mine from Murano also commented that this guy had a truly special talent for this style of work, and he had the best hands on the island. The gentleman's name is Moreno Bardella, better known to his friends as Reno. He doesn't have his own studio, so it can be tough to get a chance to watch him do his incredible work, even for those who know their way around the island. However, as we were in the middle of interviewing Thomas Signoretto at Signoretto Lampadari, there was a knock on the office door, and in walks Maestro Bardella. It just so happened that the glass workers for the factory were not working that day, but the furnaces were on and full of molten glass. That's all Reno requires to do his thing and dazzle a crowd. He was more than willing to share his skills with us on camera. Thomas filled us in on some background information as we watched Reno blaze away at the bench. This piece here is called a soppiato. It's a decanter for wine and would often be found close to the glassblower's bench for thirst quenching throughout the day. Thomas further informed us the unit of measure that was typically used for the wine would be a Coca-Cola bottle, a very standardized size. As he also clued us in, many of the more clever glassblowers could take those Coca-Cola bottles, reheat them, inflate them a bit further, and increase their portion of wine. So the soppiato was a very helpful guide for measurement. So at this point, Moreno has already inflated the form. He's stretched out the neck using a minimal amount of heat, just using the heat straight from the glass that he gathered out of the furnace. But he does need one reheat on this piece in order to open the lip of the form. Now that the lip's open, the bottle is fully shaped, but he wants to add a handle and a little more decoration. So he attaches the material, sets some up for the handle, does a quick wrap of material along the neck, and now he can finish the shaping of the handle. It takes just minutes for Moreno to make a beautiful creation. He has decades worth of tricks up his sleeve. And before he shows us the next piece, he needs to make sure his tools are fully prepared. So he's cleaned off his shears so that they'll cut very accurately, leaving just a little bit of material on the end of the iron. The next piece he's going to make for us is a unicorn, and he'll make it without reheating the glass at all. So now that this little bit of material is the right temperature, he'll take a fresh gather out of the furnace and turn what looks like just a big lump of molten glass into a beautiful unicorn. Now, it is quite common to see glassmakers around the world sharing in the Muranese tradition of quickly sculpting horses from a fresh gather directly out of the furnace. It's no small feat of dexterity and temperature awareness. However, Moreno takes it to a whole other level, creating not only a unicorn with a very dramatic posture, but he'll put it on a base as well, all before the glass can cool enough to start to crack. His dexterity and accuracy with the tools are just absolutely incredible. He's got the majority of the body formed, and at this point wants to stretch out the tail, remove the piece from the end of the pipe, and he'll do some finishing touches while the piece lays next to him on the bench. Now that the unicorn is shaped and postured just the way he wants, Moreno begins to make a base so the piece can properly be displayed. He needs to move quickly. If the unicorn cools down too much before he tries to attach the base, it won't fuse properly and would likely crack the unicorn as well. So he gets the unicorn attached, stretches some material out, gets it to just the right length and thickness, some quick shaping to create a loop for the base, stretches the piece vertically, and at this point he wants to get the piece properly balanced before the glass freezes too much that he can no longer make adjustments. Some last second touches, making sure the balance is just right, the display is just right. And there we have our finished unicorn.